see anybody. Hey, everybody. I can't see who's watching, really. Let me see. Hi, everybody. Hey. Thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all see me looking to the side, I'm kind of watching on my laptop too so that I can see your comments. Can everybody hear me fine? Hey. Can anybody hear me? Don't do this. Hi, Samantha. Since you had to be different. Okay, everybody can hear me. Cool. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I don't really want to make it long, but I do have like a long list of notes, and I'm totally out of my comfort zone, but we're going to make it work tonight. Okay, hey Tiara. So the reason I decided to do this live is because I've had several people that are like, oh, you got this, and it's like, sis, aside from any career field I'm in, like this is real life, and it doesn't make me unrelatable. I'm only human, and it's okay for me to be overwhelmed by so many emotions. So yeah, I think one of the hardest things for me right now is, I know some people know, but me struggling with not having any biological parents going to be at my wedding. So that's been a process. And it's just like, everyone wants their parents to help them and things like that. I haven't had that experience, so it's been a lot. It's been a harsh reality. And I'm a little salty because my mom, she helps all of my sisters with their wedding. And, she's not here physically to help me, but I'm pushing through it. And I'm thankful for everybody who has stepped in, and they're here to assist me in any way possible. I've been thankful, and my friends, my bridal team, everybody's been really good. So I'm pushing through it. I know some of you see my venting posts. I'm human, like I said. I'm trying to push through it. I try to be as open and honest as possible. So yeah. But that's a little about that. But I'm trying to see where I should start. So I got engaged. Me and Elliot got engaged May 3rd, 2018. So we decided to do a 2-year engagement. Nothing was pre-planned. I didn't have any Pinterest boards, anything like that. So it's completely been from scratch for me. I will say, and if you see me looking down, I got my little notes to stay on task too. One thing I will say with this process that I've learned is do not feel pressured to spend a lot of money to prove anything to anyone. That's one thing I will say. I know a lot of people are like, you do events, so they expect me to have this big lavish wedding. And I mean, it's going to be nice, but it's not going to be like this $30,000 wedding, but I'm still going to make it nice and still be able to live within my means. Like, I'm not going to have this extravagant wedding people are planning me to have. And anyway, I will also say, accept the fact that some things will not go your way. Like, you have to be willing to accept that. For example, one thing I wanted, and I would not, it was my must have. And It was this mirrored aisle. It's a mirrored aisle runner, and I really wanted it. And I had a lady come out to my wedding venue. I had her quote me, and it was even $1,200. I was willing to pay it. Like, I had to have this aisle runner. And she was like, oh, well, since your ceremony is outdoors, it will not lay flat. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, then I won't be able to do it. So it's been, and I haven't found any aisle runner that I like. So yeah, I probably won't have an aisle runner because I refuse to settle. But anyway, let's go on to something else. Let's talk about color schemes. So a lot of people, someone asked, how did I pick my color scheme? So what we did is, I think me and Elliot both agreed on navy. And so from there, I've always been a fan of baby blue. So, Samantha, I've always been a fan of baby blue. So we went with navy, baby blue, and then I love gold over silver. So that's how we chose our colors. Was it that easy for us to choose? No, we went through like 5 different color schemes before we were able to get to those 3 or 4 colors. So I will say, in this process, I have learned to be willing to compromise with your partner. Because, I mean, you know, us women, we want things to look the way we want to, but we also have to be open and listen to the way, you know, our partner might want something completely out of left field, and we have to be willing to compromise with them. It's not all about us ladies, even though some of them will make you feel like you could do whatever. So I will say, with us setting the date, our set the date was, we pushed it 2 years out from the day we were engaged. We got engaged. So that's how we came up with our date. I would say tips on picking your date would be decide what season you prefer to have your wedding. That's where you should start. Also think about if you want to do it during off-peak season. A lot of venues have the off-peak season. Some have peak seasons. Sometimes during the off-peak season, you could get a discount. It's a lot cheaper to usually have it in off-peak season. Also, some tips is if you prefer a weekday or a weekend, there's a way to save money as well with different venues. So, of course, we chose a Saturday, a lot more expensive, but, you know, with our guests coming from all over, we felt that was the perfect day to have it. As far as time management, I would say, for one, write everything out along this process. Make sure you're staying organized. That's a big thing. I'm big on staying organized. I actually can show y'all like my little wedding budget that I did. It's all over the place, but I'm organized, sis. I need to know what deposits I paid, when are they due, who I have to pay this day. I also have my planner where I'm in my planner, I'm jotting notes. This person has to be paid this day. This person has to be paid that day. And like I said, I have attached to the description, I'm sorry, I keep saying but I attached to this description a wedding checklist you could use, feel free to use. And there's also, what was it? Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all, I forgot. I attached a wedding planner template. What is? A budget calculator you could use, and a wedding checklist you can use. So hopefully those tools will be helpful to you all. But yeah, the way that I do mine, I always put the most important things first. That's what I did, and then you fill in all of the small details later. Sorry. I will also say accept as much help as possible. I know a lot of people have been coming to me and they're like, what can I do? What can I do? And I've been kind of I'm not going to say pushing them away. I'm like, I'll need help, the day of or the day before. But right now it's a part of just me, just making sure my people are paid, my vendors are paid and things like that. So right now I haven't really asked for too much help, but my family has stepped in tremendously with just, helping, covering budgets and things like that. And I also will say, give yourself time to breathe with your planning process. I'm still learning that. So I think I get wrapped up because I do work a full-time job. And so once I'm home, I'm so drained. So when I'm at work, I could literally be working and I'm like, oh, I need to do this. Like, say I had my dress fitting. I still didn't have my mermaid slip to go under my dress and the bustier. So I'm like writing stuff down. When it comes to me, I write it down and I keep up with it just to kind of, once I get home or whenever I have the downtime, I'm able to update my my budget list and different things and add it to my tasks. And I will say, one of my suggestions when we're talking about vendors and stuff like that, I would say make it a priority. Even if it isn't required, make it a priority to pay all of your vendors in advance or have cash envelopes already prepared for the day of. So many times I see we're doing events and, the vendors come to you, the bride or the groom, and they have their hands out. And I feel like as a bride, your day is so busy, so you won't have time to go to the ATM or different things like that. So I'll say make it a priority to pay your people, whether it's a day before or a week before or whatever. Once you have the money, go ahead and pay them so that your day is as less stressful as possible. So no one wants to chase you down to get paid. And what else? Let's see. Let me see what y'all, I'll see what y'all been saying. Okay, Clara, I saw your message. Okay. Tiara said, how did you choose your bridesmaids and maid of honor? Or did you just know who you wanted? So I actually had that in my notes. But I will go over that quickly. So we chose our how we chose our bridesmaids and groomsmen. We chose our close friends and family that we felt we would be honored to have stand next to us on that day. Everyone that I chose, I talked to, if not every day, I talked to them, on the regular. Like, those are my girls. So I chose to stick with them, and I chose the closest 4 people that I'm close to. They're all in my wedding. I will say, don't let because a friend might stay out of town deter you from making any decisions just because, they might not live here. We actually have 6 members in our wedding that live in different states. So, I mean, that's pretty much how we chose. I will say some people asked, did I do the proposals, the bridesmaids proposals? I did do that a few months ago. And what I did, I just had a little self-care box they had a bath bomb, a candle. I had their initials on their box, and I had a robe, and I had their initials embroidered into their robes. And that's what we kind of did. I think Elliot with his groomsmen to ask them. I think he just sent them a text. You know, guys are different, so they just different. Let's see. Samantha said, when is peak season? Usually the peak season is like, I believe it's like April on to like May. I think the off-peak season usually is like, let's say October. You know, the colder months, they really don't, no one really kind of gets married. I'm not gonna say not get married during that time, but they consider that the off-peak season because people are less likely to book during those seasons because a lot of people like summer, spring weddings. So, tips for the day of timeline. So, I will say, how do I say this? So, I would say you want to make sure everything is timed out. Give yourself as much time as possible. So, say, I haven't did my day of timeline yet, but like my hairstylist, she told me she will only need 2 hours to do my hair. And I still gave extra time. So for that, I spaced out 3 hours. So anything you put on your timeline, I would say give it an extra 30 minutes to an hour. Just because anything can happen. I mean, you just want to make sure you give yourself enough time so that you're able to stay, you know, if things run over, you're able to still stay on task and before the ceremony or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. Being as are creative and hands-on or good at it, or do you feel that it's better to do what you can, pay small and quarter hours, just pay? I think initially, Jasmine, I mean, it just depends. If you are the do-it-yourself type of person, I would say it's best to, maybe for you, it's best to hire a day of coordinator who is like that person that comes in and they're able to, you know, oversee your day. They're able to, you know, tell people when to go, you know, able to set up for you and different things like that. But if you're like the person that's like gets very overwhelmed and you're really not that creative, or you really, you know, this is not your thing, I would say it's probably best to hire an event planner. Or say if you work a full-time job and you just don't have the time to sit and go through all of this stuff, I would say it's probably best to hire an event planner because they're able to, you know, like say with me, I can create a packet. If you tell me your budget, I'm able to create a packet. I'm able to send you venue suggestions. I'm able to send you catering options. Like that event planner will be able to send you 3 venues, 3 catering places that are within your budget. So it kind of helps you in a way because they're doing the work for you pretty much. So it's pretty much up to you if you kind of want someone to do the work and you just make, you know, have you making that final decision, or if you want to do it yourself and you just need that person to come in the day of and kind of just, you know, hey, get, you know, lift that weight off your shoulder for the day of. Let's see. The photographer should also have a timeline that lines up with your day. Yes, I agree. Jafet, I'm going to work on that. What has been your favorite part about planning your wedding? Let me see. My favorite parts, I guess, I will say, I guess the favorite part has been, getting able to be creative. Because, you know, when you do others' events, it's more so their vision, their ideas. You don't really get to always add your touch on it. So I guess with this, like, I'm in full control and I'm able to do whatever I want. I will say that's probably been the best part so far. China, I love you. You're so awesome and creative. Can't wait to see pictures. Oh, I love you too, China. How did you choose the colors? How we chose the colors, like, I think you probably went on, but I chose the colors. We went through 5 color schemes, and then we came up with one color we both liked. And then I chose which was navy blue. And then I love sky blue. And then we added gold because I love gold over silver. Let's see. How did you coordinate the theme of your wedding? Like, for example, hairstyle, makeup, bridesmaids, dresses, etc. Did you have any help from friends or a stylist? So, it's kind of just all come together. I now have a Pinterest board, so I just kind of play around with that. My bridal team, they've been amazing. We have a group chat, and I'll send them stuff, and they help me make decisions. They've been my go-to person. You know, sometimes I go to Elliot, and Elliot's just like, do what you want. He doesn't really care. He more so cared about how he looks and things like that. So I will say, like, my bridal team, they've been like, you know, I try not to show them everything, but I will say they've played a major part of making decisions for my weddings and the theme of it and all of that. Did you enjoy finding your dress, or was it stressful? I did enjoy finding my dress. I didn't expect to find my dress the day of, the same day that I went, but I wouldn't say it was stressful, but that day I was running a fever, so it was kind of, you know, trying to try on dresses and not feeling well. It was a little bit much, but yeah. So let me see. I'm going to talk about... Oh, I was going to also suggest, as far as time management the day of the wedding, you don't have to do this, but this is just something we're specifically doing. I am going to set aside for like 15-20 minute private dinner for me and Elliot before we join our reception, just because I feel like on wedding days you are all over the place and you really don't honestly get to have that moment with your spouse. So I will say that we will be taking a moment to ourselves and have dinner together, and then we'll join our guests. So I will say I think it's good to kind of, after the ceremony, to take a moment and enjoy your spouse. Like, take a moment to breathe and talk about your day. I think that's so important, because you probably won't get that until later that night, about 11 or 12. And as far as any tips for outdoor weddings since you're having one, as far as weather? Okay, so I was actually going to talk about the venue, about chicken, about the venue, whether doing indoor or outdoor. I will say the pros about the reason we chose to the pros of choosing our venue. Our hashtag is on Cloud Young, and the venue that we chose, it sits on the top of a hill, and it kind of gives you that feel like you're in the clouds. But it also, and the venue we chose, it kind of forced us to keep our wedding kind of small and intimate, which that's always been my vision. I've always wanted my wedding to be close friends and family. So it kind of forced our guest list to remain within that, because I have a kind of big family. And yeah, so we kind of took up most of the list, but that's all right. I was opposed at first to having my ceremony outdoors. but I was willing to compromise about 45 minutes outdoors after seeing the venue. I will say, so we do have a backup plan if you are doing a venue and they happen to be out. It happens to be a ceremony outside. Ask them, do they have a plan B? So that was one of my first questions when we went. Do they have a plan B? Yes. Do I want to use that plan B? No. So we're going to pray for good weather. But yes, we do have a plan B in case of weather or anything. What else as far as venue? Also, when you go to a venue, I would ask if they have an open vendor policy or a preferred vendor. So a lot of buildings or venues, say for ours, for instance, we are not allowed to bring any outside liquor, and we can't bring any outside food other than our cake. So that is one of our cons with our venue, because our catering and liquor had to be ordered through the venue, which was about $4,000 on top of paying to use the venue alone. So we had an extra $4,000 added to that, just because we had to use their venues, which they spike up the catering liquor, which they spike up their prices a little bit. So that's that. And also with a bar, a lot of people question an open bar, cash bar. I would say whatever is your preference, because we decided to do an open bar, but once it's gone, it's gone. We are doing an open bar, Tierra, but yeah, we have 3 choices, and then like I said, once it's gone, it's gone. But I hope everybody, I don't want to have no leftover liquor. We pay nice money, so hopefully we won't have any leftover liquor. Let's see, how to choose your guest list. Well, how I chose my guest list, like I said, I chose we chose close family and friends only. One thing we did was send all of our invites to our family first, because family comes first. And then afterwards, our remaining seats were left open to our friends. So I appreciate any friends that were patient with me. I'm still sending out invites. I sent out one today. Don't judge, but we just want to be able to celebrate with guests who genuinely support us, and to come in and help celebrate us with our union. I'll be there, you won't. Really, Sheena? So yeah, as far as like in RSVPs, I'm turning up after the camera. Yes, Jafet, you could turn up. After work is so hard. Okay, so RSVPs, well, this is just a suggestion. So we did our RSVPs through Zola.com. I don't know if you've heard of that, but what it is, they actually made it so much easier process for us, because they offer invites, they have the free wedding websites, and you're able to do your registry. So it made our lives much easier. All our guests were to RSVP through our wedding website, and anytime someone RSVP'd, it sent us an email that they confirmed or declined or whatever the case. It made it easier for us to track our RSVPs versus, sending out invites in the mail and asking them to send us the RSVP back. And our site included hotel recommendations, things to do, wedding ceremony and reception information, and it also had our engagement photos on there, so everyone was able to do that. How we save money, we only did save the dates, and they were about a little over $100, and I think we ordered probably close to 200. I can't remember. We probably ordered close to 200, but we spent a little over $100. And then on like postage, we spent like probably less than $50. We are expecting probably about 70% of our guests to come. We don't expect everyone to come that we sent the invite, of course. But I would say if you are completely opposed to spending $100 or so on your invites, because honestly, people do lose them. People do lose, they misplace them within the first month or so. If you're opposed to that, I would suggest doing digital invites and maybe a few printed invites for, say, if you have older guests to attend and they're not computer savvy. That would just be my recommendation. Also, I would say maybe possibly creating an email that's just for your wedding, because to keep track of your wedding costs, your quotes and things like contracts and things like that. Because like the other day, I hired a videographer and I kept thinking she didn't email me back, but whole time it got lost in my email. I don't know if it went to my junk mail or what, but I ended up 2 days later seeing that she had emailed me. So I would say probably creating a new email so things are not lost would be best. But yeah, as far as budget, someone asked how did we come up with our budget. Initially, Elliot thought that it would be reasonable for our budget to be $5,000 for the entire wedding. No, that is a venue alone, $5,000. Anybody that's getting married or anything like a venue alone is $5,000. I mean, some are less. You can find some for cheaper, but that's just the reality of it. Realistically, we agreed on $10,000, but we are currently a few thousand past that. I don't know if Brandon's still on here, but he had previously asked how to stay within your budget. I would say prioritize things you are willing to splurge on versus those things you could cut costs and spend a little to nothing on. I would also say price compare everything. I have it bad and make sure I'm getting everything at the best price possible. Yeah, that's pretty much what my advice would be. For dress shopping, I would say do not try on the most expensive dress first. I walked into my dress fitting and the first dress I tried on was right off the mannequin. Huge no. Like, I fell in love with this dress and it was like I had to have it. But I did try on other dresses and I ended up not going with that dress because I felt that the bottom would get really wrinkled and we would have to be walking around with a steamer or something to make sure it stayed cool. But it did make it hard to see any other dress after I tried that one on. But I would say an advice would be to check for any sales or coupons before you go to your dress fitting. I believe I saved about $400 off of my dress just by, watching the sales and things like that. As far as my bridesmaids, I chose a dress. I made sure it was important for me to choose a dress for all body types because I wanted everyone to feel comfortable and look beautiful. And I even for them, I searched for sales and things like that. So I think initially I told them like Black Friday, they were running a special for like $50 off. So because, weddings add up and when you're asking them to come out of their pocket. So I tried to save them as much money as possible. Even their shoes were like buy one, get 150% off at the time. I made sure, we did one bulk order just to try to save money as much as we can. Let's see. As far as our flowers, I would say it's up to you, but if you're thinking about using fresh flowers, I would research what flowers will be in season. Samantha. We're not going to talk about you, Samantha, but I would see what flowers would be in season. Our decision was to go with a flower market. So basically, we're doing it ourselves. All of our bouquets, boutonnieres, centerpieces, we're doing it ourselves. But the flower market offers classes, and they have a designer in-house that will assist, that help you arrange with they help arrange your centerpieces and everything with you for an hourly rate. So that's what option we chose. I also save money on my centerpiece stands because the flower market, they rented their stands for like $7 to $12 versus me spending $20+ on centerpieces that I probably was gonna sell or give away, whatever, collect dust. But if you prefer fake flowers, I will say that Michael's, I'm not sure how often their sales are, but Michael's is a really good place to look at fresh flowers. And then also Hobby Lobby usually has sales on their flowers every other week, and they're usually 50% off. Somewhere else would be like Amazon. You could check there. They have good, bulk orders, bulk prices for their fake flowers. I'm also going to, a suggestion also is, say if, for instance, some of my flowers for my ceremony, once the ceremony is over, some of those flowers will be repurposed and a part of they'll be taken indoors, and they'll actually be used for maybe my guest sign-in table or different things like that. So I will say, don't feel like repurpose. Be okay with repurposing your flowers, even with my bridesmaids bouquets, because I know they'll get laid around or something like that. So once we're done taking pictures, their bouquets will be added to my table, to our sweetheart table, whatever. We'll make use of those flowers. So don't be afraid to do that. As far as the cake, with our cake, we decided to go with an 8-inch cake. We only wanted a cake really for cutting, for pictures, to cut the cake. But we're going to do cupcakes, and we'll have like several different flavors because we just didn't want to get stuck with a cake taken home. Like, a lot of times that stuff goes to waste. We don't want to be bothered. So we're going to have a cake for cutting, and then we'll have cupcakes, different flavors. As far as vendors, how to choose your vendors, I will say use the connections you have first. I see a lot of times, some people will be like, who does this, who does that? And if we think long and hard, we have those people surrounding us, so everybody that I chose, pretty much everybody I've known them from forever. So Nail by Teak, I've known her 10+ years. Shantae, my hairstylist, 3+ years. I actually have always told Tika and Shantae that they were my dream team. And I meant that, they're my dream team. They're going to make sure I'm together for my day. So I'm so excited. Jafet with JAO Photography. I met him at MT 12, 13 years ago. I love his work. I believe his niche is telling love stories through his images. He's amazing. I don't know if he's still on here. And we went with him because he has great wedding packages, and they also included the engagement sessions with them. So that was perfect for us to just go with the same person that, did our engagements and wedding photos. Sheikah, my videographer, I'm excited to work with her. I've known her since high school. It's amazing to see her business blossom as well. I have a few others, but it's just I'm excited. But I definitely use those connections that I knew. Hey, Jaffe. But a suggestion would be to find vendors. Say if you don't know anyone that's a makeup artist, a videographer, or anything like that, I would say attend these local bridal shows. That's what they're there for. There's so many vendors at these bridal shows that, you know, they'll be within your budget range. Even if they're not, you could do your research on Google. What is it? Wedding Wire. I think you could search vendors on there. There's all these different ways where you can find someone in your area. Always check reviews, or even if it's word of mouth. I mean, I would definitely do that. Yeah, y'all. I mean, that was pretty much all I had. I just wanted to give a few things. Anybody else had any more questions? Hey, Joanna. I think I hit everything. I just wanted to make sure that I give a few tips and just talk about my experience as well. I'm pretty much done planning. I still have 2 months. But at this moment, I'm just honestly just paying off. Danielle said Thumbtack. Thumbtack, yes. Thumbtack is a great place, too, to find vendors. But, yeah, at this moment, I'm just paying off my vendors. And I'm finally... My decor, that's been the hardest part, just picking out my decor because I'm so indecisive, and I'm finally getting there with that. My opinion on destination weddings, go for it. I wish I would have did it at this point because it would have been paid off by now. I keep adding things and I don't need them. So I would say definitely, I think destination weddings are amazing, and yeah, I say go for it, honestly. We actually have a friend that's doing a destination wedding later this year. Jersey want to know, will you offer sitter service? Yes. I'm actually thinking about that. There'll be a few kids at my wedding, and I think I'm going to find someone to, like, entertain them because I don't really want a lot of kids running around my wedding. And I will have activities for them, but I kind of want to just, you know, have someone that'll watch after them so they're not running around. Thank you, Joanna. Yes, Samantha, I'm here for it. You having one because it's been a lot. You've heard my events. It's crazy. Thank you. Thank you, Tweety. But yeah, anyone have any more questions or anything I didn't go over? I was a little nervous, but I think I'm okay now. Let me see. I think that was it though. But anyone that still has questions, feel free to DM me. I'm not a hard person to approach at all. I will tell you whatever. I'm an open book. I am. I'm not the stuck-up person people think I am. I'm not. I'm really down to earth, okay? Yes, Brandon, you're going to be lit at the wedding. But yeah. But yes, that was all, everyone. Tiara, I need y'all to cry for me because I'm not trying to mess up my makeup, okay? Chris, will you have Kool-Aid? We will not have Kool-Aid at this wedding, okay? Sorry. It's not that type of wedding. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna check out, y'all. Like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to DM me. Whatever, I'm willing to help anybody. Like, I understand this is a stressful process. Like, seriously, it really is. Aside from anything that I do, this is stressful when it's a lot. It's a lot. So, but y'all, thank you for watching. I really appreciate y'all for the support and for, you know, interacting with me. And I will see y'all next time.